sixth grade year, 12-year-old me timidly walked down the hallway to the largest room in the building, the band hall. I had no idea that everything that I would learn in this very room would change my life forever. Now, I had already had 3 years of piano experience prior to this year, but what changed my life wasn't the fact that I could simply read music off of a page, but everything that music encompassed and helped me develop. I feel that music education in schools is an instrumental part of the developing child and should not be taken out. The problem is, though, the state has begun to strip away these music education classes because they can't fund them, and unfortunately music is the first to be eliminated when it comes time to cut the budget. During the next few minutes, I'm going to try to attempt to explain to you the importance of music education in schools by showing the developmental importance, the means of release, and the increased graduation rate and the increased test rate. And I will also include opposing arguments and counter them. So the brain is constantly growing, developing, engaging, and learning. Music stimulates nerve impulses and hormones in the brain, otherwise untouched. I think that music aids in the fundamental development of the brain. A study from Stanford shows that music stimulates areas that aren't necessarily stimulated by the whole aspect of academics, such as paying attention, making predictions, updating memory in the brain, not to mention critical thinking skills, which are unfortunately not included in most public schools' curriculum. Also, research from the University of California states that early music training dramatically enhances abstract reasoning skills. And findings indicate that the music uniquely enhances high brain functions for courses such as mathematics, science, and chess, and many others. Around the U.S., students graduate by the millions each year, due in part to music education. If you take away these music education classes, then you have a decreased rate of graduation and also test scores. In fact, and I have here on my board, a study shows that when schools who have music education classes, their graduation rates are 90.2% as opposed to those right here who don't have music education classes are a measly 72.9%. Also, a Canadian study suggests that music lessons may have a wide range of intellectual benefits. It shows that among a group of highly performing students, that grades were consistently higher in those who stayed in the music class their whole high school career as opposed to those who did not and dropped out in the first two. Now, besides the mental stimulation that music brings, it also gives a child an outlet for feelings and emotions that are very difficult, especially for somebody that young, like anxiety or depression or anything like that. And by that I mean if a child feels that music is an adequate way to express these feelings, then there seems to be a correlation in a child that is in music education and in street activity. So, in saying that, a study shows that in secondary students who are involved in a music education class, there is a reported lifetime and current decrease in the use of substances such as drugs or alcohol or tobacco. Now, an opposing view might say that because a child isn't interested in that classical music stuff and they'd rather listen to the radio, that we might as well not fund it. Let me first explain that when I was in the 6th grade and all the way up to 12th grade, there was no expectation for us to play classical music, and in fact, I don't remember playing any Mozart or Beethoven, especially in the marching band. We played, most of the time it was fun music, but still very intricate and immensely musical. You can't take away the option for a child because they are ignorant. If you do that, it takes away potential, and if you take away the potential, you create dull and uncreative children. Someone could also say that the music doesn't bring in as much money as the sports team, such as basketball or football. Short term, that may be true, that the sports teams do bring in more money, but long term, in the success of the school and the student, music shows to be more beneficial. In the long run, because of those graduation rates that we just talked about, the school has a better income. We have seen exponential growth in cuts of music programs all around the nation, a decrease to 20% since 2001, and I have that right down here. It is important to realize the value of music, and it affects the student on so many more levels than just one. It's systemic. It helps shape the whole life of the child. The inherently music is immensely important. It is obvious that the pros outweigh the cons in keeping music in schools. Looking at them, you'd think that the state would take that into consideration whenever they took that out. I believe that music education is an instrumental part of the developing child, and because of this, I explained how the child is dependent on music to have a developed brain, how graduation rates increase, how test scores increase, and how it provides that release of the emotions that are very difficult to release sometimes. I hope I have succeeded in showing you why it is important to keep music in school. Thank you for listening.